Hi everybody, it's the Soap Man and it's time to make some soap. So the title of the video probably described it all. What I'm doing today is a soap that's called Sahara Sunset, and this is not my idea. This is from SoapQueen.com, and if you don't know, Soap Queen is sort of an extension of Brambleberry. Anne Marie, who owns Brambleberry, used to post on a site called SoapQueen.com, and it's actually still up. I just don't think she's posting on it anymore. And it has a lot of really good design ideas, and this is her idea, and I've done it many times in the past, but today I'm doing it in my slab mold instead of the tall skinny mold. And her design actually calls from really precise colorant measurements, and it has 5 layers, but the tall skinny mold is deeper. I'm just going to have 4 layers and kind of make up my own, and I'll show you what I'm doing to try to simulate that as I go. But it is going to basically be 4 layers, and it's going to have a half sun. This is just cold process that I made and cut it in half, so I've got 2 of them that's just going to sit on the bottom layer and look like the sinking sun. And for the Frankenscent, that was not my idea either. I've mixed old fragrances together, but I think I've seen it on YouTube. Several people mix them together and just call it a Frankenscent. So that's basically what I've done, is taken old scents that are almost in bottles that are almost empty, and I'm probably not going to order for a while, and mixed them all together. Each one individually behaves pretty well by itself, so I think combined they'll behave pretty well. But even so, it really doesn't matter, because if it accelerates, it's not a big deal because I'm doing layers. So give me a minute to get set up, and I'll show you each layer how I'm doing it as I start to construct the soap. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, I'm ready. So I have it divided into 4 containers, and each one is intentionally a little bit different. Like, this is going to be the black, this is going to be the thinnest layer. So it's not meant to be equal layers, because, you know, it is supposed to represent nature, and nature is not symmetrical in most cases. So I'm starting out with the black. I am using black oxide. That amount, I think a half a teaspoon is more than enough, because this is potent colorant. And I'm soaping at room temperature, so I'm not really concerned about stick blending it straight in. I'm even going to go ahead and put the Frankenscent in. And give it a good blend. Yeah, it's behaving just fine. Yeah, that was a heck of a stick blending, but look how fluid it still is. Just look at that dripping off like water. And I'm going to want that to set up because I'm doing layers. So let's just go ahead and pour that in. Just thin as water, look at that. Thin as water. So needless to say, I'm going to be here quite a while waiting, so I won't make you wait with me. I'll shut us down and bring us back when I'm ready for the next. Okay, so I went ahead and put the setting sun in the mold. I got both of them in there. I'm not sure if you can see them or not, but they're both in there and gave it just a little bit of a texture. So now it's time to work on our next layer. Now, Soap Queen used, obviously, Brambleberry scents and colorants. She used, for the dark red, one that's called Merlot Sparkle, which I don't have. Now, Nurture Soap, or at least used to have their own version. I believe it was called Red Vibrance, which looks sort of like the Merlot color of red wine. The closest I have is Pink Vibrance, and she also mixed that with Brambleberry Neon Pink and just a little tiny bit of black oxide. So our next layer, I'm just going to have to do the best I can, and the closest that I can come is the Pink Vibrance. So I am kind of just making this up as I go. I had an idea, ahead. This is a fairly dark pink, which will come close to getting us the red, I believe. And I'm also going to put in a little bit of Trial by Fire from Nurture to get some red into it. Now that, of course, will have to be stick blended in before it really shows. And I think I'm just going to skip the hot pink because I'm trying to darken this. Let me hand stir those. And then I'll get the black oxide in, which will also have to be stick blended. Okay, now let's see what our black oxide does, even though it won't really show until I stick blend it. That's the only way oxides really truly show their beauty, is once they're stick blended. And she calls for it to be pre-mixed in oil and literally just a few drops. So I'm going to put, this is 1/4 teaspoon, I'm going to put like 1/4 of this 1/4 teaspoon of black oxide. And it's really not going to show until I stick blend it, so I might as well go ahead and bite the bullet and do it, because I do want it just a tad darker than that. Yep, just a little bit more of the black oxide. That's better. Yep, that's pretty close to the dark red I was hoping. And let's get this into the mold. Close that oxide before I spill it and make a permanent horrific mess. And of course, I know that that is set up nice and firm, but I'm still going to be cautious and pour this onto the embeds. And let it flood. Okay, once again, that's got to set a while to firm up, so I'll be back. Okay, it finally set up and I gave it a light texture. It's time for our orange layer, which will be Nurture Soap's Orange Vibrance and a little splash of Brambleberries Tangerine Wow. And this is kind of a deeper orange, so I might even once again put in just the tiniest splash of black oxide. We'll see. Because remember, the sun is setting, so I don't really want, you know, a bright, vibrant color. So, of course, this is a colorant. This is a neon colorant that has to be stick blended to really bring it out. So I won't know until I stick blend it and see what it looks like. take a chance, because I don't want a really bright, vibrant orange. This is the 1/4 teaspoon, and I'm putting like 1/4 of a 1/4 teaspoon. If we got any mathematicians, you can figure out the math. So I'm going to go ahead and stir that in and then stick blend it, because it really isn't going to show until the stick blends. Because it's just in clumps now, I can see the clumps in it. Just go ahead and get our fragrance in, because it's holding up really well. Stir that in so it'll blend a little better. Well, the orange didn't quite turn out the way I wanted, but that's all right. And I'm getting thick because it has been sitting for quite a while, so I got to get it in. Well, no, look at that. Look how thin that still is. So that's not quite what I wanted, but it'll do. No worries. And like I say, I'm kind of making this up as I go along because the Soap Queen tutorial has very, very specific pre-measured, pre-mixed amounts of colorants, and they're brambleberry colorants. So I'll let that sit up, give it a texture, and we'll be back for the final layer. Okay, I am back for the yellow, and I have found a new go-to yellow, which is Nurture Soap's Yellow Vibrance mixed with Mad Micah's Tennis Ball Breaker, which is what I'm going to do, but this is not supposed to be a bright yellow because it is the sinking sun, the setting sun, and Soap Queen actually mixed a little bit of Tangerine Wow in it. The Tangerine Wow is so potent, I'm really afraid to put it into this. So I'm probably going to put in just a little bit of the Orange Vibrance instead. It does call for a little tiny bit of orange to tone it down. Let's see what that does. Really afraid to put a neon into this orange. Yeah. I mean a neon orange into this yellow. That looks a little better. Now let's go ahead and get our tennis ball breaker to stabilize it. Not much, that's probably about a half a teaspoon or less. Once again, I won't really be able to tell till that stick blends. So let's stick blend it and see what we have. That looks good. I'm going to go ahead and fragrance it because we're getting pretty thick now. And our final layer. leave the top just as it is. So that is what I have. Tomorrow for the cut, we'll see what it looks like. So I'll see you then. Bye, everybody. Okay, it's the next day and I'm back. It's time to cut our soap. Everything on the pour went really well. I went ahead and split it because we're going to go ahead and take a peek inside. I did not quite nail the orange the way I was hoping, but the other colors look pretty good. And looking at it in hindsight, even though that was really supposed to be more than orange, it seems a little fitting, so not too bad. But the definition will come when we cut into it and see the setting sun, and they all should look pretty much the same. I put just a minor texture for a little variation, so I'll just cut a few from each. And the Frankenscent combination smells good. Oh yeah, see our setting sun. Yeah, that looks really nice. And once again, these are all going to look pretty much the same. Let me check the other log. It should look pretty much the same too. So I won't waste time cutting bars of soap that are all going to look the same, but I will get them cut and then upload a picture at the end of the video. Yep. And now that I know I can do this, and I know what not to do on the orange, I can also do this on the big slab mold at church. And since that is a taller, deeper mold, I can probably get the 5 layers if I wanted to. Very nice. So let me finish cutting these off camera. And I'll upload these. And the orange is the only thing I would do differently. And even so, it still fits. So I'm pretty happy with this overall. And like that combination of fragrances, using up the last of them. So anyway, that's what I have this week. And as always, thanks for watching. Stay safe, take good care of yourselves, and be blessed. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.